Oh, well, I appreciate you guys' patience there, hanging out, waiting for me to come back though. Alright, so as I was mentioning, you get your ship, okay? So, shields are range, weapons, shields. Now, what we know, this is all we know about this ship though, and the basically the race that was in charge of this ship though, is that basically they were the Husnak race was basically described as a turret-firing race though, of basically that essentially conquered and or destroyed anything in their path though, and they were quite advanced. We know that the ship we saw though was either a ship that basically was still around, that the basically character or creature though, Kevin Uxbridge, he basically is a being that was able to wipe out the entire Husnak race though, 50 billion lives just with a thought. Puts him on par with Q, or maybe even above Q. I mean, we know Q, or the Continuum, is basically quite powerful. We know that there are other races or other species or individuals who may be remnants of basically ancient civilizations with that kind of power though. But in either case though, he literally just wiped out the entire species. Further, there are books that came out afterwards, years later though, that recently have been followed up in with Star Trek Titan series though, which gives us a little bit more about finding a Husnak ship that were basically another ship of the similar caliber. Given what we know, what was discussed though, I suspect that this is just, yeah, it's kind of hard to gauge though, is what it really comes down to. And the reason why I say that is in particular because it was, this particular interaction though was basically being controlled by essentially a single being who had that kind of power. So we don't even know whether how accurate those stats might or might not be though. But as an example though, I mean, what we will note is that with basically when the other enterprises launched there, or ships are shown, it's hard to tell though. Check it out though, guys. So coming back to our missions here though, because that's really what we're still focused on. Range of 6 means that we can cover basically up to 6, basically a distance of 6. So if you basically need to go out more than 6 though from your outpost though, on this ship it's going to take a while. But on the other hand, if you run into anyone who's basically out there with this ship, you got shields and you got weapons. There's Kimpek. Bach. Then we come to our rule book. And then we got more missions. We got interrupts though. Okay, so here's a Miranda class ship though. So this ship, range is 6, weapons 5, shields 5, which means that if this ship runs against that Husnock ship, it's not going to be able to outrun it. It is not going to be able to survive its attack for long, and it definitely is not going to be able to be effective in trying to attack the ship either. So you get equipment that you can use for your missions, and you got your interrupts, and there's more missions. And of course what you would do with the missions to make, basically you make essentially a linear line of your missions though, where basically you would lay them out kind of like this to create your, essentially your distance though, and you basically have your outpost plotted somewhere, and then you'd have your missions running on either side though. Treaty. So this part that we're now going through in the basically this deck though is now the common stuff. So here's a shuttlecraft though that you could make use of. And you got your dilemmas, more events, typical Federation personnel, Klingon personnel, and of course the other thing that you'll notice though, which I didn't exactly, that is that these basically represent your essentially kind of the rank of the character though. So basically depending on what, you know, basically the rank is though. So you know, basically you got your, this is your second officer, Clag. This is just a medical officer. And so, you know, with that symbol though also represents potentially how basically skillful that character might be though. And when you come to the ships though, the other thing is, so as an example, the Covert class ship though basically needs a essentially officer that has basically this, at least that matching symbol to be able to command it. So Covert class ship doesn't require a lot, whereas if you're talking one of the more larger ships though, is Galaxy class, Constitution, the basically the larger Klingon ships though, the D7s for example, something like that, then you are going to need someone to command that, and you're going to need an officer. Okay, click on outpost, and there's the mercenary ship though. That was from basically the Next Generation, and you can see you'll need 2 basically people of at least that level of command though to basically go. Whereas if you come across something like the Derek's class Romulan ship, you're going to need a lot more assistance. You're going to need basically a commander and 2 officers, if you will, to be able to make this, to be able to command or move the ship. Just as like with the Galaxy class ship, same thing as well. And then we'll throw another card around. Okay, so we are going to go ahead and wrap that up though for this particular segment of the Throwback, looking at the Star Trek Series Zoo, or the collectible card game. And I will catch you guys in the next video, where we will go ahead and take a look at what's inside a sealed version of the box Zoo. We'll cover the rest of these cards. We may actually look at this one as well, though. Well, we will, though, I should say, but we'll see where we cover it. So, all right, guys, I'm going to need to. We'll catch you in the next video. Don't forget, I appreciate you guys hanging out, and have a great day.